Well, this morning, Christoph and Ferdy took the 74 all the way down to Middlebury. So he left around like 2 in the morning.
2:20, 2:15.
2:15. We got this on auction for nothing. Okay, there wasn't really anyone bidding on it.
Yeah.
And it went dirt cheap. So we said, why the hell not? It's not really going to be useful up on the King Road on the stony land, but on a lot of the river bottom, it'll be a lot better than running our 16-foot disc and our 14-foot disc. We can run this in the big set, so can use a little less equipment and something bigger. And for how dirt cheap we bought it, it was not the end of the world.
Yeah.
So I've always heard them called grubbers. And everyone calls them something different. You got some people call them diggers. They're called field cultivators. It always depends on where you're at. But basically that's what it is. It has some discs, but you got to manually adjust them on the front. Kind of the same thing as our Harrells. And then has these, and then the finger tines in the back. So no rolling baskets, but it's not bad at all. It's 22 feet wide. It took them about 3 hours to go one way, and on the way back, I think halfway, an hour something in, they blew, I'm gonna say this wheel right here, but they took a jack and some tools with them, and they just pulled the wheel off the wing and threw it down here to finish the ride. We were expecting a tire to go because it was such a long drive, and we really didn't know what the condition was of the wheels, right, Henry?
Yeah.
But honestly, it was a pretty easy trip for him. He said the 74 definitely felt it back there. It ain't light, but it got the job done. Well, what I was working on yesterday is not the chisel plows. The one set's done, working on the other set. But a couple weeks ago, Krista went to Pennsylvania and picked up this jackhammer. It was like $2,000. It's not the right one for the Volvo. Our Volvo is plumbed up to run a jackhammer, but we don't have one. It was like $2,000 we paid for it. Now, we weren't gonna go out and buy one of the one that's exactly for it, because those suckers are like 20 grand, and there was just no way that we were gonna buy one, because in some of our pasture fields that we're slowly making into grass fields, there's a lot of big boulders that we can't even move or even dig underneath to have fallen. They're just so big, some of them. That we wanted to get a jackhammer. Now it is a little small for ours, but it'll work. So it came with the attachment to go on our old excavator, but ours isn't plumbed up to run a jackhammer. So we got some steel here, and I pulled those pins out, which is pin on like that. So I'm making new pieces. I have this made. I have an egg-shaped in on these bushings, and I got it tacked on this side, and then this side I have 2 beads in so far. I gotta make it welded flush, and then the other side, it just looks like that. I gotta weld that up flush and everything, but that will sit on this side, and then this flat plate is gonna weld onto that, and then I have another piece of steel exactly like these that are gonna come up, and that's gonna get pins, these pins. We got bushings made, but we actually don't need them, so, because these are actually just gonna get welded straight into that plate. So these bushings were kind of a waste, but it is what it is. We thought we were gonna need them, but we don't. So those 2 pins are gonna do with a quick attach for our Volvo. So I'm making that today. It'll be done, and then we just gotta plumb it up, and hopefully it works. We have no clue actually if it works or not. Well, I haven't recorded really much of this because it's more tedious than anything. You got to measure a bunch of stuff and welding. It's not just like 1 or 2 passes of welding. It's a lot, and then you got to grind it so the inside was flush. But we got all those beat out stuff welded, so the bushings are perfect. I have it clamped tight right now because I want that stuff so it can't really wiggle when we weld the top plate on. That way there's no slop side to side, because there's no bushings in between, or shims I mean. So I did take a torch and V out this steel on both of them. Right now I got some steel underneath plating it up because I'm trying to make everything square, height and side to side. I'm not sure how thick this was that Christoph got. So this one right here is inch, and this is a little less than an inch. Is it a little less, or it just might be from the torching? Oh no, they're both inch. My bad. So that's all inch steel that we're putting on. Same thickness as what's on the jackhammer, so it'll be strong enough. Once I get all this tacked, how it's sitting, I gotta do a little bit more. It's not sitting, it's twisted a little bit, so I gotta kind of twist it and tack it. Once I got everything tacked and holding good enough, I'll pull the pins out and I'll set it up here on the table or something, or on the chisel plow, somewhere where I'm upright and not having to be arched over, and I'll weld it. So I got this thing sitting perfect. I got 4 tacks on it. It's just enough to get the block out of the way, but I had to stick a little bit of shimming stuff there. So I'm gonna weld it a little bit better and then we'll pull it off. Christoph just rolled back in. Marcus has been outside with Christoph. He's ordering some stuff.
What do you mean?
He's on the phone with Tim right now from Champlain Valley Equipment. So Marcus, or not, Henry has not been in here while I've been welding. But now that I got that tacked, I also put 2 brackets here and here. That way when I'm welding, if anyone's welded, anyone that has welded knows when you're welding, steel will move sometimes. So that way I can kind of work both sides and I don't even have to think about the steel like closing in or out on me. That way it stays perfectly tight when I go to put it back together. I can cut it off after and it should stay still. It won't be able to move with that on there. We're here by the 84. When Christoph was using it, it snapped the tie rod.
Oh, it wasn't really, ball joint.
The ball joint part is fine, but it snapped it on this part.
Right. Be careful.
It looked like it was already half broke.
It is, it was. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna give you the pipe wrench. We'll tighten up the other side and we'll heat this side.
Yeah, he was trying to open it. You alright, Henry?
Yes.
Okay. The other side was spinning, the side we don't want. So we needed to bring torches. I think Henry's having a good time. That's gonna heat this side now because we got it tightened back up. Because the side we want to loosen up wasn't, for you know how that goes. So we had to retighten it. I held this, and now he's heating the other side, and I'm gonna turn it on this side to get that side to open. So hopefully it works. The tractor's off, the bucket system. It wasn't empty for me. It's electrical, so he can't drop the bucket system if he tried.
Stop touching shit! Yes!
Yes. So we just got it to spin. He brought water to cool that piston down.
It's not bad actually.
We got lucky this time.
That's cold.
We've had times where when you really gotta heat it, that piston gets hot and you don't want it to travel the heat and then blow seals. Yes, Henry, yes. What? The tractor.
Not bad.
Yes.
The tractor. Okay, so she's spinning.
Yes.
We forgot the never seas.
We did forget the never seized. That sucker has to get never seized.
Huh?
So otherwise it is a like this, pain in the ass to get open the next time. So Christoph heated, well, you can see where he heated right there.
And it took it.
Well, the damn thing is threaded into the piston.
I saw it. I knew it from the other one. I was
But
hoping.
somehow the heat traveled enough into that piston,
On that bolt, not the piston.
well, on the bolt, that it expanded it. Well, it had to expand the piston.
Yeah.
But we didn't want to heat that. And we, yeah,
I know.
it worked.
Hi.
Got Marcus here. We grabbed some never sees. We screwed that back in there. We had to take the sledgehammer and smash this side a bunch of times. Once you hit this enough, you can only beat the tie rod up. And it comes right out. You don't have to heat it. He's the new one. He's got to screw that in. Is the tire still aligned correctly?
No, these fucking tires are all over the place. Oh no.
So
It's all fucked.
she is doing the Chevy right now. Don't worry, Chris, I was gonna eyeball this,
No.
even though nothing right here is the same.
It's not. It's not.
Do you have this part?
Yeah, this is definitely not the same length. Well,
Don't worry, he's got eyes. He can
we'll
do
have
it.
to measure it when we come home.
I had to turn the other wheel, suck the piston in, that way he could get the tie rod in there to screw it because it was hitting this tire. So now, you got Marcus in the way, but she's doing the Chevy. Have you ever seen that before, Marcus? You think it would pull pretty good like that?
Yeah, no. It'd make it struggle more.
It would struggle. She's almost due for some new tires.
Yeah, the other side.
These were put on when we bought it, and it just rolled over 10,000 hours. I think it's 10, I don't know, 10,000 like 300 on it, something like that, in that range right now, or maybe a little less. And we bought it with 3,800. This tractor, 3,800 is what this one had when we bought it, and now it's over 10,000. So they're very good tires, the trailer boards. So right now, Krista, we're just trying to line it up.
All the way. Go. Back.
We're steering the wheel. And it's not perfectly lined right now, but we're kind of in the soup. Krista was trying to level all this stuff with a bucket. And we're gonna take it to the shop and measure it in there to try getting them lined up perfectly.
Look at that.
Well, it's the next morning. Krista's already swearing. Start up the morning like that. We jacked up the front end, and then we adjusted the tie rods. The other one is actually bad too. It's loose. You have about a ½ inch of travel on this wheel. So that's gonna get ordered today, but we adjusted it as good as we could with it being loose. We put it in at least as close as we could. The feed tractor, we just split that. Took us about 2 hours. We were way too good at this. It's sad, but we didn't have the seat in it, so I got to add that to the time. But yeah, the tractor's already split. Brian will be here today. He was here yesterday, and he said, from what he saw, it's inside still. So something got messed up. We're hoping we can figure that out today, and then we'll go from there. Well, I got this back on. I didn't cut these yet because I wanted to make sure it didn't move when I put it back together, but it's a good thing I did, because when I was welding, it cracked this one of the times, so I was trying to pull it, so I welded it back right away. It's still really tight. I had to sledgehammer it. It's about as good as I'm gonna get it. This has 4 welds on it. I think it's good enough for what it's only gonna be down pressure, and it has to take vibration. It's not like it's getting yanked on like a bucket. Someone might say it's not welded good enough, but I'm gonna say it should hold. There's definitely better welders out there, but for what I'm doing, it'll work. I gotta get the chisel plows done now, and the harrows, the last couple. And Ferdy is ordering a seal kit for that field cultivator that we bought, because on one of the lift ones it's leaking, and you have to have the stops in it because it drops right away, so the seal kits are bad. So we're gonna get one for that coming. So I'll put this on hold for a little while. And then I need the Volvo now anyways, because you put that piece of steel that's right on the bucket. It's the exact same thing as this that I cut to make that. But to make the top half for the pins, I need the Volvo here to make sure everything's perfectly lined up and nice and tight, so there's not extra slop. I don't want any. If I'm doing it, it's gonna be done correctly and kept in tight. So I got to do, I think, 3 wheel bearings on this. We have it all in that bag. And then right here, this cracked, so I gotta torch that out, weld that new. And then right here, must be because that front moved. That cracked up front because of this, or this cracked because of that. One of the two. But I gotta grind it out, weld it, and then on that side we plated it when it broke a couple years ago. Probably do the same here. And then I have 2 teeth that got to get changed on this one. The other one I had to do all 12, either flip or put new ones on. This one, just 2. These 2 are looking rough. Well, chisel's almost done now. We got to order just a couple simple stuff for that. Half of it was the PTO was actually my fault. We should have just split it again. But when you're putting this plate on, you have to line up the PTO shaft, which is this, and the oil port shaft pipe. Now, I lined this one up right, but must have been I missed the gear, and it wasn't in all the way. Or it wasn't in, so I didn't line the gear up to the pump, or the PTO shaft here, which is on the pump. So I screwed that part up when we put it together, and then there's a couple O-rings we're thinking were bad, and maybe that was giving the issue for the four-wheel drive. So that PTO not working was my fault, is what it is. We still have to figure out the four-wheel drive. We got a couple teeth changed now. That's all that's left on this. We got to get a tractor in here to pick it up so it's high enough off the ground for the impact. And then I finished the welding that was bad on it. Should be good. And I put a screen in on this one too. I did it to the other one. Alex asked if we could put a screen in to hold stones or whatever other junk they find in the field. So we did that. See, she's asked for just this, but now that I did this, she's gonna like get to the first field and be like, why didn't you do the whole thing? I could hold more. That's how it's gonna go. But let's see. We just got the green set of Heralds. One bad bearing on it I saw, and we might replace a set of the discs because they are shot. But we don't have any here, so if they don't get them in time, we won't do it, but otherwise we'll change this back set because it's half the size of all the other ones. Christoph is doing 2 chisel plow tires for the other one. That's all that's left on that one, but we were waiting on the second tire to come. See, now you'll see this was not us that did this, but the valve stem hole is not that great. And the tube was fine. It was still holding air before. But with a new tube that we're putting in, it's gonna cut itself. So instead of wanting to buy a rim, because we really don't want to, we're gonna do the only logical thing, and we're gonna stick a washer on the inside, because a washer's smooth.
Hopefully. And
that'll stop it from popping the tube, because this right here is very sharp. Like if I pulled on it hard enough, it could cut me. Look at that. That right there is backyard engineering. It took the air. He just has the valve stem out so it's go faster, because we were having trouble the first time getting the bead the set. And then we found out we had to take it back off for that hole. That is how you do it. Now we weld it, and boom, it's like it's...
You don't weld it, we leave it.
We're just gonna have her be. Got Kyle around here again. He's not wearing the farm shirt.
Not even any farm shirt. Not even
That's a first.
We're kicking him off.
Kick him off the property.
I might have one in the trash. Hard to say, I emptied it out the other day. You guys don't know yet, but...
We were going to try to put it on the other chisel plows. Didn't work because of our drawbar. So we're hooking it on this one.
We are connected.
It was a struggle, honestly. We almost thought we had to put the other drawbar back on. But we got it. So one's going to be heading out here soon.
We gotta put some air in the front tires since the 2 inside ones leak pretty good. All it needs now is fuel, and then Alex is probably gonna head out with this thing. start chisel plowing. We got new discs coming for that back set. My mom's going to get them. And then we have to do some one blown bearing that's on it. So, but we're gonna put all 3 new ones on there if I can get them. And then I got the Volvo here for at some point when I can get to finishing up that hammer. Well, I came down to Enosburg real quick. I had to go to Napa to get some bearings ordered. And you could see Alex right there. Looks like she's doing the very first pass of the year.